What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with that analysis while holding down analysisplayground.com. Also listening to analysis as I'm giving y'all that analysis on a hot topic today. We're going to talk about Ben Simmons having interest in the San Antonio Spurs. I've had a lot of Spurs fans on this channel for many years because I've been doing this for so long. And they always want to know what I think about their team and what they should and they shouldn't do. And I'm about to give y'all what I think today. If the Spurs should trade for Ben Simmons, I will say do it. Ben Simmons is a all-star player in this league. He has shown that he's an elite defender in this league. He is also under contract for multiple years still, as he just signed his extension. That's security for the Spurs, who have always shown patience. They have always shown leadership, culture. They also show a winning culture, as we just think they was just 20 plus years in the playoffs. But they also have shown structure. They also have shown so many great qualities that organization dream of being them or running an organization like them. And this is the organization that can have a guy like Ben Simmons that cut off all communication with everybody in the organization because they all pointed the finger on them when they also had a part to play in them flopping to the Atlanta Hawks. And now he wants out, and you get an all-star caliber guard, and you really don't have much assets to me. That's really crazy. But you have enough interest to where I think Ben Simmons will want to come here. But I have also told the Spurs fans multiple times that they need a superstar. They need a guy that they can build their franchise around. They just don't have that. They have a lot of great players and potential players the last couple years, but a lot of these guys have not shown all-star. A lot of these guys haven't shown superstar. They have shown that they can be good. They have great shown growth and improvement. But Ben Simmons has become a significantly better defender. When Ben Simmons came into the league, I didn't look at him as a guy that can defend, and he has really changed my thoughts on that the last couple years, where he even put himself in the conversation for the Defensive Player of the Year. And I didn't see that in UCLA, and I didn't see that the first couple years with the Sixers, but I see that now. But his playmaking has been elite. Being able to see over everybody because he's bigger, he's taller, and being unselfish, a guy that even got criticized for not wanting to score multiple times throughout his career, and that's one of the reasons why Philly want him out. But if you the Spurs, Greg Popovich has been a guy that has been hard on some of the greatest players ever, has held a lot of the greatest players ever accountable, has asked them to do more, has got them to do more, has got them to change, has got them to improve, has even got them into, as we've seen with Kawhi Leonard, to develop a shot, to develop his game, to become one of the best players of the league. And Greg Popovich has a lot to do with that by being patient, easing them in, letting them grow, letting them develop. And when it was his time, he allowed them to shine. And I think Ben Simmons is a guy that's down to earth. He listens. He wants to get better. He wants to, impress. He wants to be flashy. He wants to win. And I think he has shown that throughout his whole career in Philly. And he just needs a fresh start, a team that believes in him, a team that feels like they can reach the same goals with him at his highest level. And I still think Ben Simmons is so young. People forget how young he is. People forget, you know, he came in as a teenager. So he's not that old. He's still in his mid 20s. So he still has more room to grow. He still has more room to improve. And when a guy like Greg Popovich is getting in your ear, when a guy and Greg Popovich is getting the best out of you and pushing you and wanting the best from you, and you know it, that's just a whole different ball game of what you're getting in Philly right now. And that's something that you want from the gate. That's something that you want from the jump. And I do believe that that's something he can get from the Spurs. And the Spurs need a transcendent talent. We all know how great Ben Simmons is. Even when we disrespect him, you still got to give him credit on everything else that he does well, just because he has been that good. I know his shooting is not the best. I know his mentality is not always what you want it to be. And I know he's not a great free throw shooter. But he is something that the Spurs need. They need a guy that people want to play with. They need a guy that people respect. They need a guy that can help them turn what they're at now. The only reason why the Spurs are in this situation is because they really wanted to stay competitive. They really wanted to show these guys the right way to play, the right way to go about it, even if it meant them being bubbled out the last 2 years by trying to still try to make the playoffs, even though they didn't really need to do it because we felt like they should have went younger earlier. But they really wanted to show these guys how to win and have the right mentality, even if they probably wasn't a playoff team at the beginning and the end of the season. And they did ultimately fall short the last 2 years. But that's building the right habits for your young guys and instilling the right mentality, from the start to now in them. And I do feel like they have a bunch of guards. They have a lot of guys like Jakob Pertl and stuff that you want to see what they can be. You kind of know what they can be, but you still don't see a guy of Ben Simmons' caliber on this team. And even though Daryl Morey is a wizard, he understands the game. He's going to try to get as much as he can get from him. He's going to wait till he can get the right deal for him. But ultimately, I don't really see why Ben Simmons would want to stay. I don't see why Ben Simmons should even want to be there on opening night. I even heard that Ben Simmons was going as far to where he doesn't even want to be with his team to the point where if the season starts, he's not even going to try to play games for this organization. And I think it's fair, and I understand why he feels that way. To be honest, I'm on his side because I feel like Joel Embiid has flopped multiple times in the Atlanta series, missing the free throws, key turnovers, missing a lot of shots in those fourth quarters, allowing the Hawks to make a run, to be able to close games where Joel Embiid is the process. He is the franchise. But to point the finger at Ben Simmons like he had no point to even point it back, because when you look at everybody pointing fingers at Ben Simmons, where was Tobias Harris? He disappeared in that series. Seth Curry was probably the most consistent player in that series outside of Joel Embiid, who disappeared in the fourth quarters to help them lose the series, even when they had the lead and even when they lost game one. Joel Embiid was not the dominant Embiid that he needed to be as the process and the number one option. He disappeared and flopped just as much as Ben Simmons. Those free throws was the reason why they lost those games. In the Atlanta series, and that's something that Ben Simmons could have put the blame on Joel Embiid and pointing the finger that this is why we lost. But it don't matter how they feel about each other. At the end of this point, this is the end. We know that everybody's tired of Ben Simmons' antics. Everybody's tired of what he's been carrying himself around, and it's just a time to break them up. We all felt like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid wasn't a good fit. It didn't work and never makes sense, and it doesn't even make any sense in the playoffs usually. And they proved that again by not even getting to one conference final as an all-star duo. This is two all-stars. This is two defensive player of the year caliber players, and they can't even get you to the conference finals with this team changing every year. 1 minute they had Jimmy Butler, 1 minute they didn't. Now they have Tobias. Then they had Tobias and Jimmy. Now they got to get rid of Ben Simmons because he wants to be out because everybody thinks he was the problem. And I just feel like it's a mess. I just feel like it's all ugly. And I just feel like it's just two guys that just tired of coming up short, tired of not really living up to the hype as a duo. And it's just time for a fresh start for Joel Embiid, which just is his organization. And it's just a fresh start for Ben Simmons, who people feel like he should have his own team. People literally feel like that. Like Ben Simmons should be the best player on the team or the second option or the third option on the team with more space, more shooting, more free flow, more control over the offense. And that's what the Spurs do. That's how they have played. That's how they won their last championship. And it does make sense to have a guy like Ben Simmons, who is a foreign-born player that's hungry, that shows that he wants to grow and develop, and he has done it throughout his career and has been one of the best players every single year since his rookie year, which he was rookie of the year that year. Even though he hasn't really grown that much offensively, he still is a guy that has potential with the right guys pushing him, the right situation, the right support system, and just having a fresh start to where he can really be himself at the highest level, I think can be a great thing, not only for Ben Simmons, but also for the Spurs if it were to happen. They're looking for an all-star. They're looking for a pillar, a foundation piece to where they can build back up and get back to their winning ways. And I think Ben Simmons would be a great fit for them And then they can also figure out what they want to build, how they want to build, and having a piece like Ben Simmons helps that too, because you already know what you're getting from him, and you can help him be something better with the right, which probably is the best development staff in the NBA, or right up there with the other ones if you don't feel like that. And Pop is one of the, if not best respected coach still remaining in the league. And I feel like if you have that in your ear and he wants you to do you at your best, you ain't gonna really complain about that if you're Ben Simmons either. And that'd be amazing for him, honestly. So I think that this makes the most sense. I don't like the Mavericks. I don't like the other team just because the styles is going to be similar to what he has in Philly, where it could be ugly or it could be a non-natural fit. But with the Spurs really not having no direction and the Spurs looking for a star, even if they got to draft him, I feel like Ben Simmons could be that for them. But remember, teams like the Warriors and the Wolves are also interested in Ben Simmons. But I think the best fit for him would be the Spurs, if I had to be honest. And I think they wouldn't complain if they can get their hands on the All Star, multiple time defensive guy in a fall in your lap like that. Hey, if you're a Spurs fan, I think most of y'all will take that and y'all will be happy, especially with DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and Joshua Primo and these type of guys where Ben Simmons is already better than all of them right now, even though they have potential to get better like they've been doing. But you get a guy that's already established in the league and really want to show some things off. Probably once he leave Philly, that gives you even more reason to try to get this deal done if you're a Spurs fan. And honestly, I want to see a fresh start, hungry Ben Simmons too, unleashed. And that would be fun, for everybody in the league, especially when he's on a mission to shut everybody up. If he goes on that, the league could go crazy, and he could probably be what he needs to be the player that we all think he could be. But we have to see where he goes, and we have to see who wants him the most, because whoever wants him the most is going to get the deal done. As we know, he's available. We know he wants out. We know they want him out. And now it's about seeing where he's going to end up. But out of all these teams that are interested and all the teams he can go to, the Spurs is the best fit for him and also for them for where they're currently at in the direction that they're trying to go in is a little unclear. Ben Simmons can add some certainty in a direction that's even brighter. I mean, a future that's even brighter than it is now, and it'll give the Spurs fans a lot of more hope than what they have going into the season with the current roster construction that it is right now. But other than that, that's just my thoughts, my analysis. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone. Hopefully, I can see y'all guys on Thursday.